the same one. Let's get right into it.
Now, Marcel P is playing a second Expo deck, so we'll see if he likes to open it again with that aggressive Expo.
Mega Minion is a super popular card. You see it featured for Marcel P, and really, as a 3 elixir card, it actually has so much survivability in it, and I think that's the main reason that people like to use it a lot.
Now, we talked a little earlier about the Inferno Tower heating up, and we just saw that exact textbook definition of what you can see out of that kind of thing. He used the Ice Spirit to stop the Inferno Tower from heating up on his Expo, and then it retargeted on the skeletons that were coming out of the Skeleton Army.
The Ice Golem is played to stop the Giant from getting much more damage in, and it's just so funny. It's just so funny to watch. Oh, man.
Now, Marcel P's alternate deck has Tesla Tower here, a little less powerful, but also less expensive.
Crossbow is going to unlock. Oh, and this is what we're talking about. Mega Minion to Mega Minion is a very important interaction in these crossbow fights, and you see John is going to earn a ton of damage.
There we go.
There it is. Now, we're talking kind of about, see, when the Ice Golem, that's what's interesting.
The
Ice Golem blows up, and its damage actually is not enough to take down the Skeleton Army, but it slows them down. If you're not going to take out the Skeleton Army with one kind of explosion, is it worth it? Because the Golem, again, Ice Golem, not enough damage.
I think I would always log a Skeleton Army, because if nothing else, it's a 2-cost log, 3-cost Skeleton Army.
You're one up elixir.
You're up 1 elixir,
sure.
Nothing else, right? The advantage to the Skeleton Army player is that those skeletons are summoned and almost immediately start dealing damage. So even if they get logged over, you're probably still doing a decent amount of damage.
All right, and here we see another interaction. Guards in front, the Knight, the Ice Spirit, and the Tesla Tower, I think, is enough to stop that crossbow from doing damage. And I have to think that Marcel P is thinking of a counter crossbow drop here, but he doesn't have a lot of elixir.
Yeah, can't afford it. Both players have actually played themselves down to sub-5 elixir and are heating back up, saving it up for the critical move. Marcel P is in danger because, well, he's about 4 logs away from losing this game unless that 8th card of John's is a rocket or some other similar direct damage spell.
Here comes the log, and actually that Inferno Tower locked onto the Expo rather than the Skeleton Army. Something really interesting to think about here is none of these guys are playing Zap anymore, a card that was leading in kind of usage for a long time.
Yeah, I actually think that so many people were so overzealous about putting log in their deck to stop these Skeleton Armies that they're feeling it now, how much they might have preferred having a Zap in there.
The utility from Zap is just unquantifiable, really.
Right. Marcel P has a really good setup here. He's got another Knight blocking. Both Expos are firing, but Marcel P has a little bit more tanky stuff in front.
Yeah, and I think that might make all the difference. Is there a log that's going to be played? That Ice Spirit will get caught up in it too, but the Expo actually does lock on. Is there an elixir to play in front of it? Oh no, and the Ice Spirit jumps. With only 69 health left on that right side tower, I think John has secured this match.
Fireball! That's
1-1. John fighting back admirably, and we see when John can find his foothold at the start of the match, he does a lot better, and this is looking like a much closer match now.
We see why now he is one of our semifinalists here, fighting off to go to that final spot.
Expo matches are so tight because it's not like a normal game of Clash Royale where both players are taking attack after attack after attack. I do a little bit of damage, then I take a little bit of damage. I do a little, then take a little bit.
It's like, all don't do anything!
No, it's actually, there's a lot going on, but it all comes down to that one critical moment, which is if I can break free, if I can finally push through your defense and find the opponent out of cycle, wrong cards in hand, not enough elixir, whatever, you almost win from that Expo alone.
All the damage is happening not on the towers in the center, and then finally,
It makes every single decision very high stakes, very high risk, high reward. I'm stressed watching it. I can only imagine how these players are. Oh my god, yeah, it's so. I really like watching Siege matches. These are the best players in the game playing the highest level of technical play for the biggest prizes ever.
There we go. Wow, what a great day. Hey, you tuned in on such a great day. Well, welcome to Clash Royale North American Opens. Now, one thing I've seen Marcel P running kind of different from his first deck was the Knight. It's a card you kind of get pretty early on. Is there any other card you would use in place of the Knight?
Knight is actually an interesting card because it didn't used to be in the meta. It used to actually be one of the cards that people really didn't like. But I think based on the needs of defending against crossbows and spells and siege and whatnot, having things like Ice Golem and Knight in your deck, you really need that low elixir, high health. I mean, how many times did the Ice Golem attack in today's match? I would wager almost 0. Like, I don't think the Ice Golem has ever swung today.
Right on the tower. I think it might have doinked an Expo once, but you're right. It's not an offensive card. It's a defensive soaking hit point, and it's great as a meat wall to put in front of your Expo.
And Knight is very similar in that sense.
Frozen meat wall.
Okay.
And actually having both gives him a backup. He always has one in hand if he needs it.
Just in case. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final match between Marcel P and John. Who will make it onto the finals? Let us know.
Oh, coming down to the wire, and John has to be using his Hog Rider deck now. And, you know, that might actually be the nail in the coffin for Marcel P, but I thought it was the nail in the coffin for Marcel P in the round of 8, but he somehow made it to the semifinals, so we'll see.
Log comes down here, it goes for arrows.
Oh, I think this is his deck with Arrow Fireball.
I believe this is actually the Hog. This might be the Hog Lightning deck out of John, so we had to watch out for some very critical lightnings.
This is a win for John. Getting 2 swings? No, just 1. Still, good enough.
Arrows are out of the hand, so he has to play Knight to defend with. Knight attacks actually pretty quickly. Isn't the worst thing to fight a skeleton.
Wow, yeah, he's
and just take a look at the effectiveness right there of the Knight. 3 elixir for that 3 of Skeleton Army, effectively mitigating all damage.
Yep.
You don't need the Knight to go across the river and damage, especially if you are playing a crossbow deck yourself. That's fine. You like that. Princess locks onto the tower. Fireball for the elixir disadvantage to remove the princess, but as Rumham loves to say, infinite damage.
I almost wonder if it would have been better just to save it. I guess he had to get the elixir out of his hand in some way, but if he could have waited a few more seconds, there would have been an opening to fireball the Mega Minion and the princess at once. He just would have had to take a little bit more damage from the princess to do so.
Here comes Hog Rider Lone, and you have to be willing. That's a smart play for Marcel P.
The Tesla Tower is a great card to have in this matchup for Marcel because it's not as much of a vulnerable blowout to as the Inferno Tower would be in his other deck. So I think he's actually pretty happy that going into Game 3, he's got this set up.
A nice line of play for Marcel P. Protects his crossbow for a little while, but now needs to arrows down the Skeleton Army. Will he do it in time? And there it goes. Takes down the Inferno Tower as well, and this is a big lock-on for Marcel P. He might just let that Mega Minion get 2 swings off on the left side, and he does. Princess is going to lower the crossbow's health by just a little bit, but the Princess attacks so slow, it's too slow, and Marcel P gets away with 1,400 damage on the right side tower.
I like the Mega Minion at the river. I like that better than fireballing the princess for Marcel P. And once again, there's
a
lightning!
lightning!
Wow.
Skeleton Army is a great backup to use if you get lightninged out, and avoids much more damage than he would have normally taken.
How much was that total? That was Hog plus Lightning plus Log. That's 12 elixir for John. And on the other side, we have Tesla plus 3 plus 1. You're right, so only 8.
That's a fantastic defense on Marcel P's side. And that's really what you need to do against Hog Lightning. What I think John needs to do is start investing more elixir in the back. As they get to the river, play the Hog Rider and have enough elixir to put the Lightning on top of that. Having that many troops on the field rather than just trying to play the Hog Rider straight on the river will actually make all the difference. And we see, again, a Hog Rider push shut down.
Oh, the princess does not lock onto the Skeleton Army.
And I think this might spell trouble for Marcel P. No, actually, he's winning away against that Skeleton Army. Didn't even need to spend arrows, I don't think. Inferno Tower comes down, but the Mega Minion is going to swing quite a few times, and here comes the Skeleton Army on Marcel P's side. Crossbow is already locked on. We're in overtime.
Whoa.
I think, that fireball probably should have been better on that right side tower. I definitely think it should have been there. This could be really bad. Hog Rider comes in, gets frozen up, and I think he's not at risk of getting pushed into lethal right now.
But he could get lightning.
No, you need to make sure that the Skeleton Army to defend. Oh, no.
Oh my goodness, Christian!
Marcel P!
Marcel P wins Christian! Which hit point matters the most?
It's the final hit point!
34. When I saw that 380, that's the moment Marcel P knew he won the game because 380 is a little short of what Lightning's going to do to a tower.
I love how he knows that. He's like,
that's when you let it go.
Left
you know your opponent's going to need 8. The Lightning plus the Log in order to finish you off. So while he's saving up to 8, you just get to 4 first and fling that fireball across the map.
He did it. There we go. Marcel P.
Wow. So talk a little bit about the importance of pulling your enemy units in range of both of your towers.
That's actually very good to do against Hog Rider. Now the dynamic is, so normally when you play a defensive structure against a Hog Rider, you would think that, okay, I want to generally just always pull the Hog Rider to both tower ranges. But you notice that if you place your tower in a range that happens, you're liable to get lightninged on both sides. And so the mind game becomes, well, do I want both towers shooting and risk getting lightning, or do I want to put it where only one tower can shoot it, but be less at risk of getting lightninged out, right? And we saw Marcel P actually choose to do both choices at different moments in time. And it really comes down to the situation.
There is a risk, though. If you pull things too close to the river, the tower won't reach it.
Yes.
So some of those Tesla towers, if they were played right at the river, the Hog Rider would have been pulled to the middle, but the other tower wouldn't have shot at it.
Well, if the Hog Rider goes too far to one side and then keeps like chasing, maybe let's put your tombstone down. Well, then he totally go over and just switch to the other one.
Yeah. Actually, the most fun
Just
thing in the
drive him
game.
around.
This is the most fun thing you can do in the game is when a big P.E.K.K.A. is coming across, drop an ice golem in the middle, and the P.E.K.K.A. will actually walk and follow the ice golem not just to the other lane, but up and back towards your own base. I swear.
It's so slow.
Big slow units will follow other slow units for a very, very long
That's
time.
happened to me with giant skeletons a couple of times.
Right.
All right, well, let's go ahead and pull up one of our first replays here between that matchup between Marcel P and John. This one involves an xbow. Let's take a look.
Surprise, surprise, the Crossbow is the MVP of this tournament so far. This is the one where John tries to gamble on the left side as well as Marcel P having a right side push. The big thing about it is that the guards are really assisting in a lot of that damage, as well as the fact that there just wasn't any option in John's hand because he spent a lot of it on that left side to stop that Crossbow from locking on. Talk about really wanting to have something like Zap in your hand. I mean, you have Lightning for that retarget, but it's just too expensive for its purposes.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of the skeleton army there, I think if John had log in hand and he would have logged, cleared out the skeleton army, saved the princess, dealt a little more damage to the tower, he would have won the game. Because of live spectating, we can't actually see what was in his hand, but that log there could have won the game played on the left. And that just shows how close. I mean, these players are playing, what, 80, 90, like 100 cards over and over again over the course of a game.
It's really fun to count.
And just one being played wrong can win or lose the match.
When it comes down to 34 points of HP. Now let's do a quick bracket update so you guys can see who is moving on to the finals. I'll give you a little spoiler. It's going to be Marcel P there. And the person that will be
dream is still
him.
alive.
That's right. This is from the beginning, Rainey. You're calling it.
The dream is still alive.
John did a fantastic job at this point. Again, all these people that have made it here just to get to this top 8, going through 40,000 for our open qualifiers for just today. So it's an amazing feat nonetheless. And Killer Whale versus Ender is coming up. Again, one of those two gentlemen will be, gentlemen or people or ladies or goblins will be moving on to face off against Marcel
Definitely
P.
goblins. The goblin behind there just tapping away.
Yeah, we got a couple goblins.
Yeah. Well, before the break, we asked you to submit some of your haikus.
That's right.
And you guys did not disappoint.
Yeah, he's a regular in a lot of streams. He's a pretty funny guy in chat.
Hey,
Let's see what he has to offer.
This is for you.
Okay, so his haiku is entitled Giant Skelly. Not fat, just big boned. Stop it with all of my troops. Boom. Rip all of my troops.
Wow.
There we go.
Pretty torso. Magnifique.
Stop it.
That was beautiful.
I like this haiku because it really conveys the message of just hopelessness once that bomb is dropped. Stop
You're
it
just
with all
One of my favorite things to play, because I play Giant Skeleton in my spawner deck, please don't have me run a spawner deck, is when you do place a Giant Skeleton, they're coming over, and they just surround it with troops. Like, oh, I gotta stop. You're like, fool.
Yeah.
Fool. And then,
Boom.
There's nothing more satisfying than seeing just, the minion horde, the barbarians, the
air units, a baby dragon just flying in there.
Right, like 27 elixir all coming across at once, and you're just like, boom. Giant skeleton, go.
Your move. All right, well, let's see now who is going to be joining Marcel P in the finals. Will it be Killer Whale or will it be Ender? Let's talk about these two guys right now. Killer Whale, Ender, both again running xbows here. Who do you think has been playing more on point, or are they pretty even coming into this match? Or
Killer Whale blew me away with his play in the match against Woody. I mean, the thing you have to remember is that Woody is one of the top mechanical players. I know we mentioned his name a whole bunch for somebody who got eliminated a couple rounds ago, right?
Everyone's like, it's true. Why are you talking about Woody?
I'm trying not to. But the idea is that he is actually one of the best mechanical players in the game. He's very precise with his tower placements. He very rarely makes mistakes. So for Killer Whale to kind of crush him 2-0, he sent a message to the rest of the top 8 like, I'm the favorite, and I'm coming for that title.
Yeah, we'll see. Rainey,
What do you
thoughts?
think?
I think I cast too much with Rumham because our minds are in the same field right now. I actually
It's
think
not a bad
Killer Whale is the most dangerous player that will ruin my day by making my Marcel P prediction not come true. But I'm still gonna hold strong and say Marcel P is the one that's gonna take the win. But Killer Whale is making it hard.
Killing it.
Okay, so both of you guys really pushing for Killer Whale.
The only thing I will say is that Ender showed some sick crossbow play. The only reason why I do not give him more benefit of the doubt is, first of all, he's got level 3 crossbow and Killer Whale.
Right.
And Killer Whale